The biggest battle in Division 3 was an in-house affair within the Kabras Sugar team between Tajveer Rai in car 67 and Ramesh Vishram in number 68. Throughout the day, they swapped places on the leaderboard, beating each other on alternate stages. As they went into the last section, Ramesh, together with navigator Atul Kochar, thought they had sewn it up, but the celebrations were short-lived. Tajveer and Bharat Patni gave one last push and were faster by 8 seconds, enough to put them ahead by 4 seconds. That they came 15th and 16th overall was secondary. After only entering a handful of rallies, Fahid Barry and Ben Spinks had swapped the left-hand drive Evo 7 for a right-hand drive Evo 9, imported from Ireland. With the intention of taking the sport more seriously, they now have the equipment to do it with, and more can be expected when they get used to it. They recorded their first ever finish on their way to coming second in Division 3. Leading the Division 3 category throughout the day were Anthony Thibault and Kavit Dave. They are not novices, but as they passed our cameras, they displayed a level of driving not seen before. They have high ambitions, and coming 9th overall added another notch on the ladder. On the Division 3 table, the new leader is Ramesh Vishram, who dislodges Sandip Jandu. Anthony Thibault ties for second, and Fahid Barry makes his mark in equal fourth. In Division 2, the favourite to win the category were Hardeep Rissi and Ravi Soni, but their rally was short-lived. The engine began missing. They decided to withdraw. Said Hamad and Victor Kundi also went out. They were caught in a thunderstorm on the third run through the Mathatani stage and were caught out of the slippery surface. Watch as they approach the brow. They immediately warned following cars, but it only served to break their concentration. This is Fahan Khan and Thabit Khandwala. Vinesh Rathod and Sachin Sumaria were going so quickly that they were never going to make it round the next bend. And sure enough, when our cameraman walked up the road, he found them in a gully well off the route. No one else came to grief, but several came close, including Aslam Khan and Ramesh Vishram. Arthur Kinyanjui took the outside line and got away with only a mild scare. Since the last event, Jaswinder and Ravi Chana had rebuilt the engine on their GT4 and were looking forward to their first finish of the season. They were lying third in Division 2 with the gearbox seized, and they coasted to a halt and out of the rally.
These are very old cars, they don't have traction control, and we were all over the road in the morning, so now with the dry setup I was pushing it to the maximum, so I think probably that's where I lost the gearbox.
They became spectators, enviously watching as their brother Jasmine and George Njoroge cruised past. They were having a good outing, overtaking car after car, climbing up the leaderboard on each stage. They finished 8th overall to be placed 3rd in the division, an impressive result.
You guys don't consider any other car, you're going to stick with the GT4?
I think we've got lots of spares for this car. I mean, I can build another one car and do a whole season with it. So I think until when they're all done and finished with, we'll think about it.
For Charles Hinga and Norris Ongalo, a result was a priority. The goal was to be in the top 10, and they decided on a moderate pace to stay out of trouble.
We know that it rained overnight. It's been raining for the last 3 or 4 days. And actually, I thought that the Mathatani route will be a bit drier than what I found. So for me, it was actually a shock.
Their rally only started when the stage dried out, but they achieved their goal, climbing 9 places up the leaderboard to finish 7th, second in Division 2. Getting through the stages without fuss or bother were Onka Rai and Supi Soin in Baldev Chaga's ex-Subaru N12. This was their third rally since taking up the sport, and despite this moment, were nothing less than impressive. They were not far off the front-end pace, taking the division honours by a clear 2 minutes and came 6th overall. On the division board, Charles Hinga moves into the lead, 10 points ahead of Onka Rai. Jasmeet Chana moves into third, with Hardip Resi dropping down to fourth. It was decided to run the stage only one more time, and although the competitive distance amounted to 70 kilometers, the rally was deemed to have been challenging enough to warrant full championship points. Ben Mushemi and Evans Mwenda caught up with a bunch of cars ahead of them, but there was no chance of overtaking and were even forced to a complete stop when the cars got stuck, totally blocking the road.
I lost my traction control and the car was twisted, dance, salsa, name them, all the dances we were trying to do that. It's quite interesting and exciting.
On the latter runs to the section, they made up some time, but it made no difference to their place on the leaderboard, finishing a disappointing 21st. Azhar Anwar and Julius Gege had been lying 7th at the first service break, with every chance of improving on this, when all of a sudden a rim broke, sending the car out of control. Oh shit! They lost 10 minutes replacing the wheel, but then the steering snapped, this time on transport.
When the rim broke, it also bent the steering. So when we finally got going and coming down here, again we were just so lucky. I tell you, we've been lucky today. The steering snapped. And we could have gone under a truck, but we went on the side into the bank.
Back on the route, they recovered 4 places, but it was only for points, as 18th was the best they could do.